Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Oh my God. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And thank you guys so much for being patient with me because I know that I would disappeared a little bit because I was away for a while. I'm back now. Before we get into this video, this is going to be my response video to some of the questions and comments that I've been getting on my page. Namely, shout out to Coconut Water who has been making a lot of comments. Really appreciate those comments. Before I get into the questions, I want to have a quick talk about a book that I'm reading called, oh, okay, not like that. How People Change by Alan Willis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm probably doing a horrible job, but it's a really good book. If you're into mind stuff and psychology, this is definitely going to be a book that is going to help you to think about things in a very different way and perspective. So let's get into the Q&A. The Q&A. I don't know, I just had these recently adjusted, so they're kind of painful right now. Anyways, so how did I end up in Germany is the first question. I ended up in Germany because I married a German. That's a short version of the short answer to a long question. Where my husband and I were vacationing in the country where I lived, where I'm from, and we met while I was on a date with another person who was, putting it politely, getting on my last nerve. So this person was getting on my nerves, and my husband introduced himself to my cousin who was also at the bar that evening, and he introduced us. I wasn't really feeling him, to be quite honest, in the beginning because he is German and that's not really a thing. But I don't know, he just seemed pretty cool and pretty nice, down to earth, and I decided that maybe we should, well, I didn't decide. I was lectured into giving him a chance because I had my predisposed impositions. I had my perspectives based on no knowledge, just on what I had heard about Germans, that this was not going to be a route that I wanted to go down, a road I wanted to go down. So anyway, so that changed. I met him again later on that evening, and we started talking with his very limited English and my very limited, even then limited German, about, just life and stuff. He was a pretty cool guy. And I gotta say that we have been pretty much inseparable since. He's very charismatic, very cool, very laid back, or was. Now that he's a father, he's a little bit more serious. But, I was really drawn to him. And so when we started long distancing, I came to visit in the summer alone. At that point, he had come back to Belize to visit me, and we talked about me visiting, and I got some time off from work at that point, and I came to Germany in the summer to visit. While I was here, he proposed after I met his mom and dad. And when I met them and he proposed, I quit my job. I just quit, I just up and quit. I sent my boss a nice little email and said I'm not coming back. No, I didn't say I wasn't coming back. I said I was quitting, and I stayed and tried to stay. At that time, I did not realize that I had to go back and apply for a different visa that would allow a family visa that would allow me to be here. But in the spirit of not sharing too much, I will just say that things worked out after a pretty long, egregious, red taped, long distance situation where we decided after much discussion that we would live semi-permanently in Germany. And it has worked out for the most part okay. I'm not going to say that Germany is like a terrible place, or that, um, it is all the horrible things that I thought it was going to be, or all the horrible things that people told me it was going to be. It's been quite a good life here. We've had a pretty good experience here in Germany. So that's just the marriage in itself. Before I moved here, before I gave up corporate, so to speak, or gave up working full time, so to speak, to be a full time stay-at-home mom, I'm sorry guys, I feel like my eye makeup is running all over the place. I feel like I look like a raccoon. Do I look okay? I don't know. So so before I moved here and decided to do the mommy thing full time, I was working for a online marketing company that deals specifically with customer service. So I was first into the customer service department as a representative, and then I was promoted on to supervisor. And when I became a supervisor, I was then in charge of a team of people that I would encourage, motivate, and teach and supervise how to deal with customers and deal with customer complaints. Before I did that, just backtracking a little bit, before I did that, I worked for an online, no, I worked for an international company as a national coordinator for a company called the Duke, or a non-for-profit, let's call it a non-for-profit, called the Duke of Edinburgh's Award Program. Now, the Duke of Edinburgh's Award Program is a program that focuses on character development for young people between the ages of 14 and 25. So I had direct contact with many at-risk youth, or youth who were looking to develop themselves in those areas of skills, um, sports, and community service. This program is international. It's sort of like the Red Cross, and we have a chapter in the country where I was in Belize, where I'm from, and I was the national coordinator for that country, for my country, but I also represented the entire Americas one year when we had like a huge recruitment campaign that was very, very successful, because some of the principles that I've been discussing on my platform were some of the things that I implemented personally in some of the schools that I worked with personally. So that's the that's where the rubber meets the road, guys. I guess you could say this is my validation to why I know what I'm talking about when I talk about the things I talk about on my channel. Um, During that time, while with the award, I was also teaching voluntarily and part-time for young adults, and then later on I moved into the regular school system, which is the young adult system is a night program, it's a night school program, but then I moved into um, day school, so regular school, high school. And my program was extremely successful. I had like a 99.9 success rate with people passing my class, because the methodologies that I was using in the classroom were super, super effective. And so I was called on by many other schools to implement said program into their curriculum. I will talk more about that on my Patreon platform. I think I've already started to allude into some of the the best practices that I came up with, and so I'll see you guys in the next one. So if you have any more questions, thank you so much for all of your questions, comments, and concerns. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this clears up or answers some of the things that we've been talking about on my channel. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and of course, if you can, stay safe and stay free.